have felt the Spirit throughout, but I have to say this morning when Christ came and we were all in darkness, and then the light and having His presence, it felt like holy ground to me.
For me, I always love hearing the testimony of all the rising generation, and it is so rewarding to hear how powerful the testimonies are and the scriptures that come to their mind as they're living, as they're sitting there listening to their peers, and the things that come to their mind is just, it's so inspiring. I love hearing their testimonies.
Agreed. I think preparing myself to hear the Spirit was the most important part, knowing that they were having tribal discussions too. Because I have such a great love for Samuel, it was kind of easy, and then to just kind of move on that further.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in and around the chapters where Lahontai and Amalickiah were talking and how that came about, and I love reading what was the buildup, because there's conversations Mormon had with the readers that was not a part of that original record, and so he was kind of setting up these things for us, and there's important messages as he's setting that up for then the story that he introduces and how that's important for us in our day.
Knowing some of that background is really helpful in understanding what we need to know and understand. Yes, on numerous occasions. One that comes to mind is actually being a young mom, as well as a new member of a ward, and I was called to be a Relief Society president. And I thought, man, I think you have the wrong person. Do you know me? I was in my 20s, and so it was a scary thing, but I had said to myself, I will go and I will do, and if this is what the Lord is, He knows me better than any, so yes, I'll do it. And kind of was blindly led by faith, and I just had to exercise that because we were brand new in the ward, so calling counselors, I didn't know anybody, I didn't know names, and I prayed hard at that time. It was kind of miraculous because my bishop said, I said, I saw this lady, I know what she looks like, but I don't know what her name is. And he says, wow, so we're working with a visual person. And I said, I guess so. So as soon as I came out of his office and he didn't know who it was, I was trying to describe, she has brown hair. And anyway, as soon as I went out, we left. I went down the hall and I passed a lady who I said, hi. And then I went, excuse me, I haven't met you. What is your name? It was such an incredible experience for me because it was just a witness of using the Spirit, and just, if you're willing, the Lord will make up the difference where you lack.
Mine's kind of similar. When a little more than a year ago, when we called to be the state president, and that November, I had started feeling these feelings that was going to be the calling, and I didn't want to accept that in my mind, that I'm not ready for that. That's not the type of. I never saw myself having that type of calling, but the Lord is so merciful that He gave me that extra time. There's months that I had this feeling, so that I knew what the Spirit felt like in my life, so that when I had to make other decisions and other callings, I already had more surety that not only in my own calling that this is what has happened, and I could not deny that at all, but that as I worked with other leaders to call others throughout the state, that I had a better idea of how the Spirit would speak to me, and I had more confidence in acting upon those promptings that I've had. And so there's been numerous callings where it didn't seem to make sense for this person, just like it didn't make sense for me, but that's kind of a pattern that the Lord follows. He doesn't call you because you're qualified. So we all bring our loaves and fishes to the table, and He magnifies us.
Loaves and fishes.
And He makes us what he molds us to what he needs and the people that we minister to. And we have to do that through our own personalities and the things that we can bring with us, because I can't be somebody else, or this person that we're calling isn't meant to be what the other person was. They bring their own talents to this, and he magnifies all of those, and he's just so merciful in doing that.